Hey y'all, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I'm still fashionista. Thank you so much for finding my channel. Here we talk about fashion, lifestyle, current events, all the things, okay? So if you're new here, welcome. I hope you decide to stick around. For my supporters, thank you so much for all your likes, shares, comments, views, all the things, okay? So you've seen the title or the caption and everything. You know why we're here. So what I want to do is I want to show you guys what I filmed last night, and then I'm going to come back and give you some more insight that I missed when I was talking yesterday evening. So let's get into that. Be right back. Hey y'all, so hopefully you guys can hear me pretty well. I don't have my microphone with me, but I wanted to go ahead and chat while I was on the move, okay? So I was at this fine dining establishment, and this young lady was at the restaurant sitting by herself, and she was very loud and obnoxious. Okay, so she might have been on her phone talking to some people, I don't know. But anyway, y'all, she came to the bar area where I was sitting at. She was standing next to this guy that was there minding his business. And she commenced to, where am I going? I'll go back this way. She commenced to, like, kind of hanging over his shoulder and stuff. And, he was okay with it for that particular point in time. But he had told the bartender, hey, can you provide me another set of utensils? Because, basically, oh, thank you. Thank you, girl. But he asked the bartender for another set of utensils because I guess she must have touched his stuff, right? So anyway, let me just sit down and talk to y'all. So anyway, so she went back to her table, right? Okay. And then she came back to the bar area on his left side. And what she did was, she had her phone, and I guess she was like going live or whatever. And he was like, get away from me. I don't want to be on your phone, on your live or whatever. I don't want to be, on your video. And then, she kind of got upset. So when she, so he did tell the bartender, hey, you need to, get security, call the manager, whatever the case was. So the manager did, go and talk to her. So she's on her live or whatever, and she's talking about how this man was racist. This man was not racist. And so I told him, I said, look, me and him started chatting, and I was like, you're definitely not racist. I said, people are looking at her because she is loud and obnoxious. They're not looking at her because she's cute. I mean, she was okay looking, I'm gonna just leave it at that, but yeah, I said, nobody's looking at her because they want to get with her. And she's saying, oh, well, they should only be looking at me, if you think I'm a cute person and da-da-da-da. No, ma'am, like, you're super loud in this expensive establishment. Like, I don't understand why you're still in here. Like, it's a minimum of $50 for an entree up in here. And you acting like this? I couldn't believe that they let her stay in there as long as they did, personally. But anyway, so, and he was like, yeah, she's calling me racist. That's what the guy was telling me. I said, yeah, I heard that. I said, I know she ain't talking about you, but she was. And so then, she ended up coming back by the bar next to him with a chicken bone, trying to talk to the bartender, y'all. I mean, I don't do the secondhand embarrassment, because this person is part of my race, I must be embarrassed for them. No, I don't do that, okay? This lady was unhinged and out of order in my Ayala voice. She was out of order, okay? And, yeah, like the whole time we were there, she was kind of loud, and then she had the nerve to dine and dash. Meaning when she, she didn't even pay for her food when she left. How do I know? Because the bartenders were like, hey, did she pay? She didn't. Clearly.
Photo bomb.
Yeah. You said photo bomb? All right. But yeah, so she definitely did not pay. She raised all that cane, got her a free meal, and left. I mean, it's crazy. It's insane. But yeah, so y'all, I don't know what to tell y'all. I mean, I just told the guy, he got ready to leave, the manager did come and speak to him and everything, and, and apologize. As a matter of fact, when I left, he apologized to me. And I was like, I appreciate that. I said, that lady was out of order. She don't need to come back in this establishment. None of the things. She need to be banned from this establishment because that made absolutely no sense for her to act like that and to remain in that restaurant. Okay? But anyway, y'all, I just had to let y'all know what was going on before I got in my car. I may decide to continue my commentary once I get home. But for now, that's it. Okay. Crazy. Y'all, let me just sum this up real quick. So the gentleman that was being harassed, his whole demeanor during this entire exchange was very, very even keeled. You know, he was very calm, you know, but he was very, you know, stern, if you will, with the management of the restaurant. So in my opinion, there were zero issues with how he behaved in this entire spectacle. He was top tier with the behavior. As a matter of fact, if he would have gotten out of character for himself, I would not have blamed him for it, okay? Now, speaking of this lady, you know, she was, after she had kind of, you know, came to this man twice at this bar area, you know, she went back to her table and was talking very loudly about how this man was a racist. Now, how do I know? We could both hear her saying this. And he leaned over to me and said, oh yeah, I'm a racist now. And that's kind of why we kind of went into that little banner. And he was like, she didn't even ask me what my race was, but yet she's saying I'm a racist. Like, you don't even know what my race is. You know what I'm saying? And I felt him because, I mean, and I said to him, you know, you're not a racist. I mean, you are minding your business. People are looking at her because of how she's behaving. You know what I'm saying? Now, I looked at her multiple times because she was closest to me on my right. And she not one time acknowledged me, nor did she come and get in my personal space at this bar. She went by me to him and was messing with him, basically. And then I guess she felt like she was attractive and that, you know, you should only be looking at me if you think I'm cute and da-da-da. No, ma'am, you are ignorant, ma'am. You are behaving in an unbecoming fashion in this establishment, okay? So, to make a long story short, like I said, you know, she dined and dashed. She said, oh, I'm gonna, you know, be right back and I'll give her the check. And she left. Nobody cared because they were glad she was gone, honestly, okay? But what was unfortunate is that you had people that paid good money to eat at this establishment who had to be subjected to this woman's antics, that paid for their food, and the person creating all the chaos left without paying anything. They got a free meal, okay? That's how that played out. So when I was walking out the establishment, this lady, you know, stopped me who was eating with her man and was like, yeah, you know, that was a mess. I'm like, yeah, it was. And she was saying, well, I was hoping you were going to say something. Why do they think that me being the other black woman in close proximity to the situation, that I was going to be the one to say something? Now, if she would have said something to me, because I was on standby, I was ready to activate. I was on standby. I was monitoring what she was doing and where she was at, because if she came anywhere near me, I was going to be ready for her. Just saying. That's how I am. That's where I'm from, down south. Like, when you see that you're around crazy people, you need to make sure that you are, you know, monitoring your environment and that you're prepared for whatever. And I was letting him know. I said, hey, she's on the move. I was telling him that. Because he's sitting there still eating. You need to understand, you got this food sitting behind us, and we need to make sure that we are prepared for whatever. Now, we weren't together, but we had developed a little kind of kinship sitting at this bar during this time, okay? But yeah, I mean, she never said anything to me. She never came my way, and you know, and that was good. But why did this woman think that I needed to say something to this woman about her behavior? Why? These people are grown, okay? When I continue the next 3 steps to get out of the door, I got stopped by the manager. Now, during this conversation, I did tell him that, you know, she's had too many drinks. And he was like, well, she only had 1 drink here. He was very clear in letting me know that they only gave her a drink, because she probably came into the restaurant, was probably of sound mind at the time when she ordered. And once she started acting the fool, they cut her right off. And they needed to, because they can be held liable for some things pertaining to her. So she had 1 drink. Now, and I said, well, you know, she probably had other drinks when she got here. Let me repeat that. I told him that she probably had other drinks before she got here. Either that or she's on some medication. And the drinks and the medication do not mix, okay? It was a hot mess, y'all, okay? But let me tell y'all this. So the lady took no accountability for any of her actions. She's literally on this live saying that, oh, this person is racist. Then she was saying, I guess because the manager had came to talk to her, as he should have escorted her out, really. But, you know, she's saying, oh, you know, I'm this single black woman in here, and, you know, and they're picking on me. You know, she was saying things of that nature. Ma'am, nobody's picking at you. Nobody's even looking at you. You're bringing attention to yourself based on how you're acting. But it was clear to me that she was under the influence. So me talking to her was not going to be resolving of anything, because she's mad at the manager. She's taking no accountability for her condition or what she's doing, and she wants to put it on race, as if somebody has committed racism towards her. But you're going to put this innocent man on your live, on your video, saying that he's a racist because he don't want to be in your video because he don't want to date you. Like, this man didn't even talk to her other than her coming to where he was sitting. So fellas, if you're out here and these women are approaching y'all, acting crazy, want you in the camera, beware. Pull out your camera and record them, because they're going to sit here and make it out to be as if they are the victim, that you have done something to them, and oh, woe was me. Okay, now he had a real one sitting next to him at the bar. He had me there because I was going to vouch for everything. I'm sitting right there looking, noticing. I'm on my phone talking to, you know, somebody's son. He's trying to understand what's going on too. Like, hey, what's that? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. So you had people that was here supporting him, that if anything went down, you had witnesses, because I would have witnessed for him, seriously, because she was out of control. When I say this lady was out of order in my Ayala voice, I mean she was. It was ridiculous how she was acting. And then to sit there and act as if, you know, somebody is trying to commit, you know, if somebody is she's experiencing racism. That was preposterous, because you were literally out of control at this restaurant. Okay? So one of my friends told me that, you know, well, you know, you need to say on your video, you know, how, you know, she's an embarrassment to the race. I said, babe, I'm not going to be talking like that, because she's an embarrassment to herself. All that she did in that moment was perpetuate a negative stereotype about black people when she acted the way that she did. When they sit there and said that black people, you know, do not behave in you know, in respectful ways, or they're uncouth, all she did was give them ammunition to continue to perpetuate that narrative. You have plenty of black people out there like myself who know how to go into an environment that's public, and they know how to behave and know how to conduct themselves. Okay, all she did was sit there and push a negative stereotype about the race. That's all she did. She embarrassed herself and her family, but she didn't embarrass me, because I was still looking cute and looking good doing what I need to do. But y'all, let me know in the comments, you know, what you all think about this situation. Have you all experienced this when you're out and about minding your business, and you see somebody acting a fool for no reason and then want to claim that somebody has done them wrong? Have you all experienced that? If you have, sign off in the comments, and I will see you all on my next video. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe, and check me out on my other videos. See you soon. Bye. All right, y'all. Call me the ghetto news reporter who don't live in the ghetto. So I was walking back to where I live. I'm almost home, y'all. And I saw these three people. It was two men and a woman, okay? So when I was walking up, the one dude walked into his home and left the young lady and this dude at their respective cars. And, you know, she kind of leaning on her car, whatever. The other dude walked to his and was like, yeah, you know, you shouldn't have pulled up on me with that beat. Oh, you know, I'm walking by trying to listen. And so I'm assuming from what I was listening that the dude that went into the house was old girl Sneaky Link. Okay, and the dude, number two, had pulled up on him. Homeboy then walked in his house, left her outside with, I guess, what was her man. And then he pulls off in a Porsche. Okay? Look, y'all, let me go on up in my home here and continue, because there's a lot going on between the park and my house. Who knows what I might get into. But y'all, I just want to let y'all know about that, and we're going to end the video again right here. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. All right.